Hey, welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. This is an unusual time for me to be on, and so I said, you know what, I should have did this earlier, but no time like the present. Anyway, where does losers go to from here? That was kind of my title, um, and we was wondering about that for Devin Haney. A lot of us saw the Devin Haney fight this past weekend, and we're gonna get into that and some more stuff about Mr. Haney. But first, let's turn to. Welcome back. This is meant to be a short, so I didn't play the intro too long. But hopefully you guys take a look at this and listen to the breakdown. Now I gotta tell you, I've had how I feel the night of the fight, and I do have to accept the conclusion of the fight, but that don't mean I have to agree to it. So I spent a lot of time here lately listening to what other people say to make sure that I'm not crazy. I'm sitting here taking notes, and I'm like, am I crazy? This me taking notes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not crazy. Everybody can't be wrong in the way that they're thinking. This fight had a lot of pressure on it. There was a lot of speculation about it. Because, they call Gervonta Davis the face of boxing. That's a subjective viewpoint. But a lot of people have that viewpoint. Gervonta Davis just broke, I don't know what record, but he broke something because he got 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. And we know that in the boxing world, a lot of people like to go by that and everything. So Gervonta Davis is making a come up in the division, in the boxing period. So now this is where where the pressure is coming from. Let me see if I got some mood music. Let me see. Nah, that's kind of slow. Nope. All right, I could rock with that. So anyway, like I said, Gervonta Davis broke 1,000,004 pay-per-view buys. You don't think that was on Devin Haney's mind when he was coming into this fight? It was definitely on his mind when he was coming into the fight. I got to make as much as Gervonta. Devin, you kind of egotistical. And if ever there was a sport that you need to be egotistical, is boxing. But sometimes y'all boxers can be just a little tad bit over the finish line with your ego. And your dad definitely has an ego. But hey, to each his own, I say. But when I ask where does losers go from, really, where are you going from here? Any fighter that's worth their weight in gold should not want a fight given to them. Devin, you went through all this headache about being called the email champion. You didn't like that? Your father didn't like it? Because it implied that you didn't work for it. And y'all ego just couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? And we saw that play out. So now you're going to go through everybody saying that the fight was fixed for you. I'm going to be all over the place, but let me try to put it together. Aegis, whatever his last name is, no disrespect, the manager to Lomachenko said that they had a problem with Dave Moretti. And they voiced that opinion like a week out. Time enough to change up the judges. Nobody listened. Nobody took heed. And then he had the most egregious card, 116 to 112. Now, I'm going to tell you how I saw the fight. We had a live party over here on Boxing Fans Talk TV. We had some of our regulars, and we also had bets now. You know what I'm saying? On my channel, we do bets sometimes. And so ATL won the bet. He's a regular, and he usually wins the bets over here over Boxing Fan Talk TV. But he won the bet because the conclusion was that Haney won, and that's what he betted. But Haney didn't win. He know it. He know it. Him and Miss ATL, they were cheering on Haney throughout the whole time. My only one thing to tell them was like, damn, you call out everything good Devin do you call out everything good Loma do? So if you was just to listen to my show and judge the fight based on what you was hearing all of us saying, you would think that Haney was putting on the clink. But he wasn't. And that's no hit against ATL and all that. He won fair and square. I always tell people he is the winningest person on my show. But anywho, they're fighting, right? And the whole time I'm saying, damn, this one gives as good as he takes. Then I say that about Loma. He gives as good as he takes. So both of them are giving and both of them are taking. So I'm like, damn, who won the fight? By the middle of the fight, the 6th, 7th round, I was calling it a draw. A lot of people think that Devin swept all them rounds up to about the 6th or 7th. I don't think so. I think these are the definite rounds that I gave Devin. The 1st and the 12th. I definitely gave him those. But when I went back and watched the fight, I don't know. I have to say the 12th round was kind of close. But everybody was happy because Devin persevered. He pushed through. He was throwing punches. Okay, cool. So that's why I said when I watched it again, I was like, nah, that was a close fight. But definitely the first. Because why? Because Devin was first. He was hitting first. And he was landing. And Lomachenko was, getting his feel of his opponent. Okay? Lomachenko, 9, 10, and 11. Definitely gave him those rounds. Ain't nothing to talk about. Definitely gave him those. So if you go with my first assessment, Devin getting number 1 and number 12, and Loma getting 9, 10, 11, then that's 5. That's 5 rounds that I judged that I could say definite. 3 went to Loma, 2 went to Devin. And that pretty much sums up the fight because all the other rounds were close. You know what I'm saying? At best, this fight should have ended in a draw. Never should Devin Haney have won the fight. And that's my opinion. If you had to pick one, you have to go with Loma. And this is why I say, if both of them are given as good as they take, if you seeing that throughout the round, you could say a minute and a half, Devin, doing some good work, and a minute and a half, Loma doing some good work, if you want to break it down like that. So which one do you pick? That's a hard decision for a judge to make. But you then have to start going to things you ordinarily don't look at when you judging a fight or judging anything. Let me give you an example. If me and you are in competition in school, I got straight A's all through high school. You get straight A's all through high school. Who is valedictorian? Because there has to be a winner, right? There has to be a valedictorian, right? What do you do to separate the two so you can pick which one is the valedictorian? Now you're going to get meticulous. You're going to have to start looking at the actual scores on the test. Yeah, I got an A, but did I get a 90A or did I get a 99A? That's the question. So you're going to have to start going back and looking at those things. If they are even close or hard to pick between, then you got to start looking at the person's involvement in the school, the things they volunteer for, what they do. Do you get what I'm saying? In boxing, in any competition, when everything is close, you're going to have to start going to the outside things you normally don't put up front to judge. So what could we judge by this fight that you don't normally put out on Front Street? Okay, when Devin Haney hit Loma, he wasn't causing damage. But when Loma hit Devin Haney, he was causing damage sometimes. In the first 5 rounds, I don't know which round, because I should have just marked it down. But in the first 5 rounds, I see your best pugilist in Quentin Bradley. What's popping? I had to get in here and say my piece. In the first 5 rounds, didn't Devin Haney try to scoop Loma up from his legs? Is that dirty? Do y'all know the natural human reaction? You will stop everything you doing if you feel like you about to fall. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, why did you need to do that? Then I think about, you made the big complaint about Devin Haney being dirty. Because Devin Haney did not want that inside game. That's what the conclusion is, or the consensus is. He didn't want that inside game. So, of course, what do we see before the fight? Harvey Doc addressing it with Lomachenko. What Devin didn't want is for Harvey Doc to break them up, and as soon as he break them up before he can slide back and get out the way, Lomachenko be on you. It's protect yourself at all times. A lot of people catch their second breath or get a breath in when you clinch up and the ref have to come and break you up. That's a stall tactic. I ain't mad at a stall tactic. That's a I need a breath tactic. Because all fighters do it. But Devin know that Lomachenko is the best at it. Devin knows that Lomachenko could come out of a break and jump on your ass immediately. And Devin Haney didn't want that. So that's why he was trying to take that tool away from Lomachenko. Then I looked at who is taking who out their game. I can definitely say Lomachenko wasn't 100% Lomachenko, but he was probably like 70% Lomachenko. He still did his thug dizzle how he normally does, but he couldn't do it like to a maximum effect. So did young Devin nullify some of that? Yes, he did. But Devin Haney was not Devin Haney at all. At all. Like I said before, all that big talk, I'm going to massacre you. I'm going to demolish you. I'm going to dog walk you. All that shit, he never did. When have you ever seen Devin Haney do dirty tactics when he fight? That's not something that I would attribute to him, nor would I attribute that to Lomachenko. So these two fighters, to me, before the fight, were never dirty fighters or grimy fighters. But who turned into a dirty fighter in this matchup? Devin Haney. He tried to grab his legs. He tried to clip him several times. But Lomachenko knew how to hop up and get around it. Go back and watch the fight. How Devin tried to sweep his leg or clip him up. How Devin tried to elbow him and mush him in the face. How Devin hit him several times in the back of his head. Matter of fact, at the end of the fight, you see a big red mark on the back of his head. These are all dirty tactics. They happen in fights, but they wasn't done by Lomachenko. It was done by the man who claimed the other man was dirty. It was done by Devin Haney. And let me tell you something. We're not stupid. Whenever people start to fight dirty, it's a reason why they do. They start to fight dirty because they don't have no other recourse. Because they're out of breath. Because they don't know what to do. That's why they start to fight dirty. Remember Devin Haney going into the corner, telling his dad, he figured me out? Remember that? because Lomachenko had figured him out. I thought Loma did his best. I thought he fought beautifully. I thought that other fighters that he was able to really shine on, like those fighters that he made quit, I don't think it got nothing to do with age. I think Devin put his heart into it and tried his best. I do. I think it was just a good fight, but Loma was better. Remember after the first round how heavy Devin was breathing. Go back and watch all the Devin fights. You will never see that. Devin normally gets tired if somebody gives him a good fight towards the end. If Devin is able to sit there and just punch and move around and all that like he kind of did to Kambosos, he barely would run out of steam. Kambosos was able to hit him a couple of times. Loma hit him a lot of times. If Tank would have hit Devin Haney with the same hits that Loma or Kambosos has hit Devin Haney with, Devin Haney would go to sleep. I am positive of it. I don't think his chin can withstand those type of blows. If you come to my show on the regular, you will know that I got Shakur Stevens beating everybody at 135. I have also complained about the fact that you got Devin Haney coined the phrase, him and his father, they say everything but let's fight. But then you got people asking to fight you and you don't even mention their name as if they don't exist. Now, I'm a fan of Isaac Cruz, and a lot of you might not be, but he calls out Devin Haney a lot. Devin Haney has never once mentioned his name. He act like he don't exist. But the man said, let's fight. I used to call Devin Haney a complete fighter or an elite fighter. I have to rescind that. He's not a complete fighter. He's a good elite fighter or complete fighter with somebody who don't have a lot of gas in their tank and don't know how to go through the motions. A B-level, maybe C-level fighter. But against another elite, Devin Haney is starting to look like Danny Garcia. Y'all know what we say about Danny Garcia. I like Danny. I'm a fan. But what did Danny do at 147? Nothing. Because it turns out when Danny has to face elite fighters such as himself, he was always on the losing side of that equation. It's not a hit against Danny. It's just saying when he fought Sean Porter, when he fought Keith Thurman, when he fought Errol Spence, all of those were considered the creme de la creme of 147. And Danny always came up short. And we know that Danny ducked Terrence Crawford. I don't need to start pulling out receipts. But that's what Devin is. It's of my opinion that Devin Haney is gonna. I don't know what he's gonna do. To be honest, I can't say for sure. I'm not in his head, but I can give an opinion or I can speculate on it. My title said, "Where does losers go from here?" Do Devin go up to 140 and face the monsters up there? I don't think so. Because you're going to see that he will probably only fight C-level and maybe low B-level fighters at 140. He'll never try to get in there with somebody like a Regis Prograis or any top fighter at 140. Josh Taylor or something like that. I can't see it. Lomachenko won the fight and he exposed Devin. So I'm sure a lot of fighters at 135 are licking their chops. The reason why Devin Haney don't really want to go up to 140, he want his cake and eat it too. This is why he said, I'm going to go up and see how I feel, but then I might be coming back down. He doesn't want to give up the belts. Because somewhere in his small mind, He believes if he don't have the belts, who is he? And I preach this all the time. Devin, you should suffice. You are enough. But I forget he's a young guy. And so comments and things that people say gets to him still. He hasn't reached that age of maturity where he can hear certain stuff and don't care. Like Tank. He want to be better than Tank. How dare Tank be the face of boxing and the pay-per-view star in a division that the undisputed champion is in? How Earl said, Devin Haney is a man with no land. He has all the hardware, all the belts, all the accolades, no fan base, no believers. When Shakur Stevens got into that ring, as boxers do, remember when Mosley did it to Mayweather? Remember when Haney did it to Lomachenko? That's why we had that fight this past Saturday. Because Haney dared to dream, right? Remember all that stuff. Shakur Stevens get in the ring. Bill and Devin hightail it out of there. And Devin turned around and said, I'm number one now. As I told you, he's not mature enough. Yeah, he cared too much what people think. It's kind of a juvenile move. And I like Caleb Plant, but I got to call a spade a spade. When Caleb, remember how we felt about Caleb asking Canelo, I fight good, don't I? Why the fuck do you care? What a person think. Nobody could understand that about Caleb that particular time. But I bet you Caleb learned he'll never do that again. Not in the mix of the fight. Maybe that could be something y'all talk about years later. But not while you fighting. Devin Haney want the validation. But you made some moves here lately that we be like, what? I complain about your grill wearing and all that stuff. I'm like, why is you doing that? That's not you. Not that I don't understand grill wearing. I know a lot of people like to do it. Hell, I like goatee. But guess what? It's not you. It will only make you look silly when you do stuff that's not you. And that's why I said, to me, I call it having your best interest at heart. Yo, player, that's not you. Take that mess off. You look crazy. The way you speak, the way we know you have grown up, you had privilege. And for you to do that, that's just crazy. The big gold chain, who you trying to be? We want to see you, not your alter ego. Like who you trying to be? So, in the end of the day, y'all hear how I break it down, which is most similar to a lot of you guys. I didn't come on tonight because I was busy doing the runaround, trying to make sure I watch as much YouTube as I can to see how people feel about it and this, that, and the other. You got celebrities like Nelly and other folks saying, nah, Loma won. You got mostly boxers, actual fighters, saying that Loma won. You got a lot of YouTube content creators saying that Loma won. And then some people, Tim Bradley was feeling a little nostalgic, and he was like, oh man, I know exactly what he about to go through because he went through it when he beat Manny Pacquiao. Tim, I don't think it's the same though. I don't think it's the same. And for those of you who think that the challenger have to take it from the champion, that's not a rule in boxing. Trust me, I was one of those people that always say, yo, you got to take it from the champ. You can't just pity pat your way. That was me for years until I got into a debate with somebody. We had to go to the rule books where it spoke on that. And that is not the case. That's not a rule in boxing. You have to score the round the same way as if you got two prospects in the ring fighting. You got to score the round by what they do in the round. You don't have to take it from a champion to win a fight. If you did better in that round, then hey, that's your round. When go back and watch the fight. Here's some key points to look for. It's in the earlier rounds. I don't know which one, but I think it's before the 5th round. Lomachenko hit him with his little flurries. Devin Haney fought, go ducking. Maybe he's trying to duck, but he grabs or try to scoop Lomachenko off his feet. Go check that out. I think at that point, Devin could have took a nosedive. I think that Loma hit him enough to knock him out, and Devin was holding on the best he could, so he made it ugly. He's going to grab him by his feet to throw him off his game. That was one tactic. Look at how many times that Devin Haney led with the elbow. We know that fighters do that all the time. Hell, Floyd was good at it. Floyd was so good you couldn't see it, but that's because Floyd would hit you and then bring the elbow behind. Devin Haney led with the elbow. Devin Haney on purpose hit him in the back of his head. These things, in a way, it's like Erislan Nilar. He does these, you do these things to get a leverage or an advantage. Maybe you break the monotony with whatever Loma is doing, and then you can throw your shot. But he did that shit. I count definitely in the 10th round, the 11th round, but earlier rounds. How many times Devin was holding on for dear life? I don't give nobody no props when they holding on all through the fight. Remember how boring Klitschko was? 1-2, hold. 1-2, hold. J.O. said, I saw the fight 7-5 either way or a draw. If they was going to pick somebody, J.O., it had to be Loma for me. It was definitely not Devin Haney. There's a couple of times that Loma hit him and he should have fell out. It should have been a knockdown. But I give Devin this. He's very good at knowing he's about to fall and held on to the little guy. I was like, in my head, Loma had to really figure out how to stop this dude from holding him. Because holding Loma saved him from a couple of knockdowns. Devin nose was bloody. Devin mouth was bloody. Not Loma's. So this is what I say to you. If you think it was a draw, because that's what I would be accepting of a draw. But if you think it was a draw, then now you got to start looking at things outside the norm to pick them apart, to see who edged who. And for me, Loma caused the most damage with the bloody nose, with the bloody mouth. Loma popped his head back. Loma hit him a couple of times where he had to hold on from not falling. Devin resulted to dirty tactics. Okay? Who nullified who the most? Neither one of them was at 100%, but who nullified who the most? Who pressed the fight? Right there in the first round, Devin was pressing. And somehow it flipped. A minute into it, it flipped. And Lomachenko was pressing the whole time. Who was fighting whose fight? Was Lomachenko fighting Devin's fight? Or was Devin fighting Lomachenko's fight? When have y'all ever known Devin to fight a fast-paced fight? He was dripping with sweat by the second round. He was out of breath in the first round. When have you ever seen Devin like that? Devin had to move and move at a faster pace. So you was fighting Lomachenko's fight. So in the end of the day, y'all, I had Lomachenko winning. But if it had to be a draw, then it had to be a draw. Devin Haney is going to go up to 140, and that's only to fight a scrub or somebody like a B or C fighter. He's not going to try to compete with nobody at the top level. Or here's something I thought about too. Can this explain why Rolly Romero got his championship belt only to be set up to fight Devin? Because Devin's going to go up 140. Who is he going to go after first? More than likely, he'll go after Rolly. That might be another cherry pick that go wrong, because if Rolly just land on Devin, he has a lot of power. He hurt Tank, but Tank took that shit, and Tank hurt him. But Tank respect the fact that Rolly had some power. It ain't just that Devin don't have power. He also don't have a chin that good. But he ain't in there with people that can crack his chin, and he's going to make sure of that. So that could explain why Rolly Romero won the championship. That they, setting it up so that Devin can come get it. Maybe. That's if PBC is cool with it. PBC, that's Rolly team. Devin, we don't know who he gonna be with. He was lullabying Bob, him and his dad, acting like they was pleased with everything Bob did, and they considered Top Rank home and all this stuff. So you don't know, did he re-sign with Bob? Because that was the speculation too. How this fight gonna play out? Because Bob wants his fighter to have the belts, and Loma is bona fide certified Bob's what you call him, what promoter. Loma has always been with Bob, and we know that Loma is gonna finish out his career with Bob. The question was, is Haney gonna stay with Bob? Is he gonna finish out his career with Bob, or go another 5 or so years? That's the question. But we know these promoters like to keep their stables outfitted with the belts. So we was like, what kind of screw up shit gonna be going on in this fight? But Bill and them try to make it seem like they happy over there at Top Rank, because they know that some screw stuff could happen. But we'll see. This was Devin Haney's last fight that he was obligated to fight with Bob with Top Rank. We're going to see his next move. Is he going back to Eddie Hearn? Is he going to be solidly independent? We'll see. But Devin Haney did not win this fight. And if anybody's being honest, they know he didn't. He didn't do the massacre that he said. All those body shots that everybody want to give him praise for, all of them didn't land flush. Go back and watch. Some of them landed, made Loma readjust. I get that, but not all. He wasn't 100% him. He was the dirty, grimy fighter that night. He actually said Loma figured him out in the middle of the rounds. When Shakur got in the ring, just like he got in the ring with Loma after his fight, Shakur gets in the ring, him and his daddy hightailed it out of there. And the reason why Devin Haney is in a pickle too, because he's easily bruised with his ego, him and his dad. If he go to 140 and like for good and have to drop the belts, who is Devin Haney? Who is Devin Haney at 140? Who is he? He is not the top dog. Ain't nobody pressed for him. He go up to 140. He'll just be another fighter. Best Pugilist said making that weight is killing Haney. It is. Quentin Bradley said they say Devin resigned a 2-fight deal with Top Rank. Oh, he resigned. I'm sorry, resigned. You said a rumor. He might have. He might have, and that was to keep Bob from so-called cheating him. I give it to them. They know how to play the game. Devin losing himself because he's sitting up there trying to be somebody he not, and that ain't good for him. Loma. When Loma said he's mine, I think Loma lived up to that because he went after him. Loma set the pace. He controlled the fight. I thought he had to clean the shots. I think he hurt Devin. Devin never hurt him. So when he said he's mine, I think he lived up to that. Like I said, he controlled the pace. He offered the pressure. Devin tried to do the pressure, but then he quickly gave it to Loma. But Devin was able to nullify Lomachenko a little bit. A little bit. But that's all I had. Like I said, you guys, I should have did a show earlier today, but I didn't. I just wanted to get on here and speak my piece because I've been watching to make sure I ain't crazy. This time around, I looked at as many YouTube content creators or YouTubes of other fighters speaking on it, civilian or previous fighters, celebrities, whoever, just to see, T, are you crazy? Are you looking at something that nobody else is seeing? And guess what? After my research today, I am highly convinced I ain't crazy. I am not crazy. Devin did not win that fight. When I say where do losers go from here, I don't know what he's going to do because he lost that fight. And it's sad because Lomachenko, you could tell when he went to crying in the back, he said his son had called him every day and they was just projecting that they was going to win and everything. It's sad to give your heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears to everything, to something, and only for it to do you wrong and not treat you fair. All anybody can ask for is fairness in this world. And when you don't get it, especially when you put a lot of work into it, it's heartbreaking. If I don't get fairness and I barely gave an effort for something or just barely put my all into something, like just didn't even really give that much of an effort, guess what? It's nothing. I'll move on. I'll be all right. But it take a lot of effort to get up in the morning and run and go to the gym 3 times a day and spar and eat right so you can make weight and do all that you're supposed to do. And oh yes, Devin Haney missed weights twice. He had to do 3 weigh-ins officially before he was under the contracted weight. So people who are Devin Haney fans be like, don't judge him because he move up or whatever. You do judge him. You got a lot of these fighters that's going around talking about I got a nutritionist. I'm good now. Everything good. Recently, you heard Earl Spence say that. And you want to take everybody at their word. Okay, they got a nutritionist. They eating right and all that. Apparently not. Why would you want to be in the last week of trying to drop 15, 20 pounds? And weight and gaining weight is something I can talk about. I can say I'm an expert on this. Is it possible that Devin Haney can make 135 for the duration? Yes, he is. You know who I believe more about? I got a nutritionist and I'm doing good and I'm making the weight better. Regis Prograis. When he said that, look at what happened with him. It showed. And it showed easily. He wasn't drained. He wasn't, Devin Haney could do that too. But whatever plan or however they doing it, it's not being done right. Because you shouldn't look sunk in the face. And you shouldn't look weird, like unhealthy when you got a nutritionist and all that and you dropping weight. So y'all got to go back to the drawing board on that. Devin Haney, you can get that done right. You better find you a real good nutritionist. You better start eating like Terrence Crawford. You better ask him. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Devin Haney, the best thing that you can do is run that back. Rematch is in order. But thanks for, like I said, listening. And in my Pamela James voice, peace.